IVM.
Alright, Simplified is where they take stories that you can't understand and make it even more difficult to understand. If you need that in your life, it's called marriage. Simplified, 3 young men with a mission. Their names, Chuck, Naren and Sriket. That's right, simplify their names first. Simplify. New episodes out on the IVM podcast website, app or wherever you get your podcast from. Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
On Cyrus Says, we meet Ashish, my cousin. No, he's not available, so we'll go with Ashish Shakya. AIB star, comedian, veteran, actor, singer, dancer, and at one time, more than a friend.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
All right, here on Cyrus Says, I have something somber and sad to talk about. It's a confession of sorts. My wife is looking to get a divorce, and rightly so. We have a huge issue, and that is the air conditioner and the fan. I'll explain it. I firmly believe that if you put the AC on, you cannot put the fan on. Cold air and hot air cannot merge, cannot mix, cannot be friends. They are like certain communities. Not in India, but elsewhere. But my wife insists on putting the fan on because she wants air to move. Once that hot air interferes with my cold air, we just have problems. And it's reached a point where now either the AC goes, the fan goes, or she goes. So, as you know, one has to make the right choice. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, here on Cyrus Says, ace comedian, trapeze artist, singer, ballet dancer, a man who could once drink with both hands but now uses other orifices and keeps his hands for writing, head of AIB Comedy Collective, and equity holder in OML as well, from what I gathered off camera just now.
And also Reliance.
And, well, perhaps we won't go there because I shall collect my check from nearby. Ashish Shakya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks, Cyrus.
Yeah, long time, about a month since we met. But before that, it was many years.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Ashish, first the shame. You as a young boy wrote for both MTV and our show the week that was.
I wrote for a lot of stuff.
Am I right?
If you're speaking of shame, there is a lot before MTV.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's go back in the beginning. I think it's easier for you to remember then. All right, so let's go to what, 2 years ago? No. Let's go back to the young Ashish. Firstly, I have to tell everyone, people don't know this. You are a direct descendant of Lord Buddha. You're from the Shakya clan. Very few people know this. You're, 40,000 ancestors before. You would have been one of the great philosophers of East India.
Well, direct descendant is a great term. I was told that it's the same community that the prince
Shakya
belonged
clan,
to, yes. And then he went off to seek enlightenment.
Is it Shakya or Sakya when you pronounce it?
Well, it depends on
No. Remember,
It's Shakya, but
no. Remember who we're talking about. That's all I ask you.
No, I'm saying Shakya. It's
You of all
Shakya.
people know.
I'm saying it's Shakya.
Listen, we have no legal counsels here. We have nothing. Okay, if you get into trouble, it's you on your own.
I can't get into trouble with the pronunciation of my own name. It's Shakya.
I don't know. This
It's
is
Shakya.
India. Go
It's
to
Shakya.
Bangladesh where people are free. Say what you want.
Absolutely.
In English.
Yeah.
Ashish, I'm sorry I interrupted. I want to begin at the beginning, which is long term, which I don't know about you. Where were you in the beginning? Where did you grow up? What were you like in school?
Oh, I was not this in school, not the performing, writing kinds at all. I was will study and go to US to do engineering because you don't know what to do in life. That was that Indian kid. Got into engineering, realized within 2 months that I hated it.
Where in engineering? Where?
There was a really shit college in Navi Mumbai.
Give it a shout out. Come on.
I
It's done
don't-
so much for your career, in a way.
You know, so...
By showing you the door out also, they do
Absolutely.
things. You know,
Absolutely.
reverse is also good.
you go in there and you realize, wow, this...
What the am I doing here?
Ass. I will do literally anything else to get out of here. And everything I do will be easier than this.
And that's why you joined the left.
That's why. That's why I joined the Communist Party, and that's
Yeah.
what I've been. No, so I just started writing in college. There were a couple of youth magazines around the time that took submissions from young kids.
Okay, but there was no comedy scene, right, at that point yet?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No. This is I'm talking.
So you're writing just for writing? You're not writing
for
to
print.
do stand-up or anything?
No. Stand-up happened much later. There was no
Right.
stand-up happening in our circuit as such. You saw.
Keep in mind it's an engineering college in far away mid India.
Yeah, so the stand-up scene would be like an event at a college festival or...
like a fool one kind of go on stage and throw stones at him.
Something like that, but less funny. That sounds hilarious.
That's my act, dude. Don't put it down, yeah.
So college you sort of ambled around, drank a lot, and then once it got over, I started writing for a magazine. And their magazine led to TV because somebody told me there's way more money in TV. So I was like, let's switch.
But this magazine was like a professional magazine because my good friend Cyrus, who's head of promos at MTV and now runs some sort of NGO which makes money on the side. He used to write for, we asked him the same question, and he apparently wrote for a magazine called Penthouse, then Mayfair, then I was very impressed. Hustler.
That is pedigree.
Yeah, so he's actually sent porn articles all across the world, and many people have been influenced by him. So maybe yours
is the same guy who wrote Gaseous Clay.
That's him.
Amazing. Gaseous Clay and porn is a great combination.
And Liftman promo. Liftman promo has changed my life.
Now I'm imagining Liftman porn. That's why did you?
Short and sweet. We Indians love it. Charmala, ho jayega. Sorry, Tarun Tejpal. That's really wrong. Yeah. Ashish, back to you. So you're writing in just a normal publication, which is like a professional mag.
Youth magazine called Jam, which is run by
Jam. You idiot! Jam was big.
Yeah,
come on.
Well, yes, I should have realized because when I talk to people these days, because they're young,
my vintage.
Yeah, they're young. They don't know I am vintage compared to these people. Like
you don't talk to uncles anymore. Talk to uncles.
People our age be like, yes, Jam. Because
Jam was alternative magazine was like anti-administration in your. Yeah, it was nice.
It was indie and it was. So the people
think about it, that's a good genre to start in.
Yeah, and also they were the only people who would give an idiot writer a chance. Zero experience, here's a cover story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You did a cover story immediately?
Yeah.
What is it on?
So the first cover story I wrote was the first story I wrote for the magazine. Once I joined, it was, I think, Rahul Mahajan had been arrested
for drugs.
At the time. Yeah, he was found in that bathtub or whatever.
Bathtub, very strange fellow
died.
So
really terrible cover story I wrote. Related to drugs and death.
You obviously researched it thoroughly. You went to Delhi, you saw the bathtub,
of course,
you spoke to family members, you spent years on the case.
That is the only way to write a humor article.
In India, you don't need to write, you take photographs and send.
And done. So, and if you find, if you speak to writers or people in the industry who are about my age, about 30s, you will find that a lot of people have come from that magazine background and another magazine, which is the Times Group rival called JLT. Everyone just wrote for those two magazines. And after that, my friend told me there's way more money in TV.
Who's this friend?
Oh, another TV writer.
Who's already established.
Yeah, she was anyway working.
She was. What was the relationship again?
Oh, Cyrus. So it's a friend thing.
Mr. Sakya. Was it Shakya? Can you please?
You're the one getting in trouble.
I'm an old faded comic. I have two gags. You won't steal them. Yeah, go on.
I was told that there's way more money in TV, so I was like, let's switch. Then TV. Then at some point, IBN.
No, so what was the first TV thing you did? Because by now we're talking about mid-90s, right?
No.
Late 90s, somewhere there.
No, we're talking about 2007.
Jesus, he's so young.
2007.
How sweetly he smiles. Yeah.
2007 is like 11 years ago.
It's Mandira Bedi time.
Pretty much.
West Indies World Cup. Yeah.
Yes. 2007. So, the first thing I wrote was for something called Sub TV. And there was
you bastard! You elitist bastard! One of the biggest channels in India. Something called. You sound like my dad.
Yeah, but
he's Tiger Pataudi's son. I don't know his name.
They used to pay a lot. Yeah. They used to pay a lot. Sub TV. So it was called. The show was called Sabka Bheja Fry. It was a sketch show. It's like a daily sketch show. So like 1 minute sketches and like 4 minute sketches or something like that. And it was a combination of the two. And I didn't even know what a sketch was. I just went into the office.
And you wrote in Hindi?
Yeah, that was the first time I wrote in Hindi.
Dialogues and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
But it was like easy Hindi, like it's the Hindi jaisa main aur tu baat karta hai waisa wala Hindi, to aisa mushkil nahi tha.
Tappar marunga.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my Hindi.
I was writing for like, so this is Suresh Menon was on it, I think Gaurav Gera was on it, these people
not bad.
Yeah. It's terrible comedy. But they paid a lot.
You already set it up for us, yeah.
And I didn't even know what a sketch was.
Were you on the set?
A few times, just to see how.
Did you see the director altering your vision?
Yes, I was like,
that's not what I meant.
Then I saw the edit and I was like, why is there a toying? I did not write a toying in the script.
Yeah, the toyings. Please explain the toyings to me.
I think the toying is just here. This is where you laugh, guys. This is where you laugh. Yeah. It's Pavlovian almost.
Yeah, it is
in front of an Indian audience.
Does it work? It worked on the dog with Pavlov, but
I think if you
dogs are intelligent.
If you play the toying at a funeral, Indian people will laugh because they're just conditioned.
Clap,
like,
clap,
Guru,
yes,
kya mar gaya Guru. Like it'll just happen.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a sketch was. The guy, I think, I forget his name, he said, will you write a sketch?
A lot of love and respect to all those who shaped your
Kabir,
career.
I think it was.
Kabir Khan.
No, Mirchan, something like that. So
Kabir
anyway,
Mirchandani?
something, I think so.
That sounds like a banker.
So he said, will you write sketches? I was like, sure. And then I went home and said, what is a sketch? So yeah, and then TV kept happening. TV allowed me to do...
You worked with MTV as well, didn't you?
I wrote a show for MTV called Pepsi MTV What's Up, the voice of youngest stars.
Yes.
You had to say it like that.
Yeah.
So I used to write links for that. Just very easy, basic
So
stuff.
were you a professional writer by then? Like, earning a little money?
Yeah.
So what was your plan?
At this point, I was 22 or 23. I had no real plan. I was just enjoying the fact that I got to turn up to work.
But what do your parents say?
Right.
Because the engineer son,
You know?
Shakya clan, and now he's just writing for, I don't know, jam.
People ask that because it's India. People always ask that, but
I'm thinking in cocktail parties, the parents are asked questions. You're in your 20s by now, and you were an intelligent boy growing up. So the parents are like, "Yaar, banker to ho jayega, but 1 year break, 1 year break."
Maybe he'll do an MBA. So my parents were still sort of hoping a couple of years into my career that I will maybe still do an MBA. Because that
I
is
heard your dad still wants you to do it. He saw last night's sketches.
Well, yes.
Tell me one thing. Are your parents, is anybody funny as well? Is there a sort of humor? You know, like everybody's got this humorous uncle or grandfather. Was anybody like that? Or?
No, they don't have like what you would call a comic talent as such, but they're inherently funny, especially my mother, they're North Indian. My mother's grown up hardy and strong. She has a good sense of humor. She's the kind of woman who'll chalte phirte, she'll like fadak, slap you one. She's one of those. So you grow up with a very no-nonsense
In the DNA, there's a certain amount of sarcasm.
There is a certain amount
especially
of
like ugly children.
Yeah,
they're like immediately,
God. They have to make the most of their ugly children. What are you going to do?
Yeah, the Bible doesn't answer every question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on, sorry. So you're doing a sketch comedy now. You're 22, 23.
Yeah, and at
next?
this point, so I was having fun just writing jokes. So remember, I've come from 4 years of engineering where it was just insane. It was just
in a way, it was
depressing.
funnier.
Yeah. So now I just had, for example, I made enough money to go out and drink.
Yeah.
I was seeing the city like a young... Because I grew up in New Bombay also.
Yeah.
For the most part. So for me, the first 2 years were almost like an outsider coming to
It's
Bombay.
amazing. It's called New Bombay, but you feel like you're in old Bombay.
It feels a little like it's very small town.
A little village outside Bombay. Be honest and tell us what you felt.
It's a lovely place, but when you come out and you're like, oh, I can go to Marine Drive whenever
Are you
I
New
want.
Bombay's most famous son? Do they have roads named after
no,
you?
I'll tell you what.
Shakya Chowk. Shakya Chowk. Okay, don't say that fast.
That's the bad part of town.
Stop it.
Sakya Chowk is the bad part of town.
Yeah.
I would like to be the most famous person in New Bombay, but I think there's a gentleman called Abby Kuruvilla, who I think is a little more famous.
Ooh.
I mean, in this room, because you
bowler,
know him.
6'5". Yeah. Should have played more for India. But they picked him too late. That's a story for another day.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew that.
One good series in the West Indies, now that you bring it up.
I knew that. And you know who else was...
He was your neighbor? Sorry.
No, you were saying?
You were saying.
Now, who else was... I'll tell you famous hero from New Bombay.
Please, give the top 10. We'll go toink after everyone. Toink. 10?
You know the guy from Band of Boys?
There are 6, 7 of them.
One of them.
Chintu.
No, the other one.
Karan!
No, not him. His parents.
so wait, 2 toinks. That's parents, 2 toinks. Toink.
His parents stayed in my colony.
Yeah.
So he used to come to visit and all the kids were like, oh, Band of Boys and guys come and all. So yeah. And I will be probably number 3.
You're number 3? I think you moved up since then. What is Karan doing now anyway?
Band of men. I don't know.
That's the only way to go. All right. So writing, MTV, those kind of shows.
Yeah, so freelance writing.
Money's coming in.
Enough money for a kid to drink.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So how does comedy and all happen?
So I'd been writing funny for a while, right? Everything I wrote from the start was always with a humorous bent. So I always liked writing
including your letter of admission to the engineering faculty.
Yeah. Please take me because I don't know what to do.
Because daddy says it's a fun job.
Daddy, it's a fun job and there are 2 bars
and there are 2 girls only. So how can I lose my virginity? Yeah.
So I'd always been writing funny. So in my head I was always being funny. But the first time I saw an open mic was when Veer used to do amateur nights. He started the open mic.
But now we're talking 2008-9.
Yeah. So
and nobody's really doing it still. There's only Veer who's come and started this whole stand-up thing.
Yeah. So around then, I think you were doing stand-up. Ash Chandler was doing stand-up. Veer was doing stand-up.
I did shows, but that's what they called.
But Veer and Ash were doing more stand-up. But again, they used to tend to do a lot of corporate stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't do a lot of public shows at the time. And I think, so he started amateur nights.
So we had a lot of comedians come here and say that they started with this amateur night at Blue Frog?
Blue Frog, yeah. Because that was literally the only place. Before that, the only Indian person we'd seen stand up from was Russell Peters.
Right.
On that grainy YouTube clip in college. And that was it. And then,
he's only 41% Indian. What I gather, yeah.
I mean, he's probably disowning that aspect also, but...
okay, so let's take us to that first night. So now you're a writer, but you're not a performer. I remember when you were working with us also, you came and showed me a clip and all that. So performing was a whole different deal for you.
Yeah.
Because you're an excellent writer, but this is now another side of your personality which you're not really explored.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not necessary that a good writer becomes a good stage performer.
Absolutely.
So take us to that whole transition, because writing now, you're getting more confident, but you see these guys perform and you say, well, wait a minute, maybe I can do this.
So the first open mic was like, okay, this looks tough, but I can do it. It's 2 minutes. I'm sure I can manage.
Sounds
2
like
minutes.
my girlfriend.
I feel bad for you. I'm sure that
try to keep the standard down. You guys spoiled it. Yeah.
Sorry for being young.
Damn you. You'll go old soon.
I'm almost there.
So who were the guys before you? Anybody? Did you see?
So on the first night, I remember, I think Kunal Rao had participated the first night. He's from EIC Comedy. I'm trying to remember guys who are still doing comedy. There were a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I think I remember Kunal Rao being on the first amateur night. So that time
was he a known name? No.
No. These are all brand new people who just walked in and signed up. So that looked like something doable. So I took part in the second or third one, where I did reasonably well. So what happened was,
can you remember the first thing that you did?
Terrible jokes.
One joke.
So I've never. Oh, no.
The thing that you did...
I'll tell you the material. It was about being a North Indian person in Bombay.
Yeah.
When the agitation and all of the...
Every 3 months it's...
Every 3 months when North
Kill the taxi driver because my gas bill was too high. I know, it makes sense.
Pretty much. It makes perfect sense. I just murdered my maid because Anyway, so that was happening. So I was talking about being a North Indian in Bombay and like Delhi jokes and North Indian.
It was one
terrible.
You must be having some.
I don't even remember, but it was terrible stuff. And the one joke that I do like, I can't do it right now.
Why?
Because it involves a certain animal, and I'll tell you after the show. It involves a certain animal.
A cock?
Sure. Do you think I would shy away from talking about fowl?
Okay. You mean a cow?
No.
A hybrid cow-cock? A cow-cock? We'll take a break. We'll get it out of him. Stay with you. Ashish Shakya from AIB.
Did I just catch you on your way to work? Or did you end up pulling an all-nighter? Let me guess. You have a packed schedule for the day, the week, and probably the month and the year. That's a lot for your mind to handle, don't you think? This buzzing chaos also brings tons of negative thoughts. Am I right? Try spinning that bottle in a positive direction with me, Chetna, on the Positively Unlimited podcast, every Monday on IBM Podcasts. It's time to change your life one alphabet at a time.
Well, you can say it, man. The beef joke would...
No, it wasn't a beef joke, but yeah. So I don't even remember most of my jokes from then. I just remember they were terrible. They were performed really badly. But I got an instant laugh from the audience. And I was like, I want to do this more. Because this is what you want, validation.
So you went on stage and you got that validation. You don't remember the joke, but then you felt your blood rushing immediately.
Yeah, and it was quite something.
Did you win the thing, the competition?
So no, I went until I performed. And until it was almost over, I felt like I'd gotten the best laughs. So I felt like I would win. Then this guy called...
Competitive comics.
Yeah. Then this guy called Tanmay Bhatt goes on last. And he destroys. So I'm like, okay, I'm not winning today. So, but I won the next one, so that was cool.
Was Tanmay there?
No. That's why.
So you did the usual... You made sure he was caught by WADA for doping allegations. So the winner... using steroids, and he was taken off, and then you took over.
Tanmay was this. The winner of the open mic got to do 5 minutes up top. So he was anyway not going to be part of the process. So I was like, yeah.
Oh, so the winner got to perform with Veer?
The winner got to open the next amateur with 5 minutes.
Okay.
When you did the open mic, it was 2 minutes.
Okay. That's it. This is a great concept because if you can get some talent, you're not paying them, you just keep looping the burgers.
Why do you think people keep doing open mics?
Why do you think they call it Blue Frog? We should have known they're fooling you. There ain't no Blue Frog. Alright, so Ashish now becomes a sort of stand-up artist.
I mean,
but you're doing more as a lark.
Yeah. No, at this point it would be too much to call yourself a stand-up artist. You've done a couple of open mics.
Right.
But the thing was, it was only us. It was very few of us doing this. So unlike the West where people have to struggle for years to build a 10, 20, 30... with the Comedy Store coming in a year after open mic started, We just started after a
You were the
little
first
bit of
family
work.
of the comedy store, if I remember correctly.
Essentially, yeah.
Could see your face there every time you visited. There was always a picture of you or Tanmay.
Me, Tanmay,
4-5 of
Rohan,
you.
Anubhav, a couple other people around the time.
Yeah.
Krao was there. Yeah, so
A real collection of beauties.
absolutely the most
So
beautiful.
how did the bonding with Tanmay and Rohan and all that happen?
So, Rohan I've known separately from around the time we were in college. We were in different colleges, but we had common friends.
You all
I've-
slept with the same people.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
Okay.
we did. It was a common friend of ours from school. He was a very gentle man, and we all slept together.
There you go.
And we've been getting drunk since like college. So I knew him.
Was he also into the stand-up comedy thing at that point?
Yeah, Rohan and I think we went
At
to
the
the same
same
open
time.
mic. So
Okay.
we got on stage at around the same time. I think he had a little bit more of a natural performer streak, so that was great. I had to like really force myself to get up the stage and practice all that.
Right.
So I've known Rohan since then. Tanmay I've known from... Tanmay also used to write this MTV show.
Correct.
Again, like I said, the youth magazines where everyone was writing, so I knew Tanmay Bhatt, the byline. I met him when we were writing this MTV show and this other show for Bindas. So,
When did you decide to start your own thing and how did that happen?
much later now, where we jumped ahead much later.
Okay.
Tanmay and Khamba started doing the podcast.
Right.
All India Bakchod, and they meant it as a... people always know this by now, but it was meant as a play on All India Radio, where you got together and discussed current affairs in the manner that you would with your friends in your living room. That was the idea behind it. And the podcast got some traction, and the idea was we were all doing stand-up individually anyway. So we figured, hey, if each guy gets about 20, 30, 50 people to watch him, why don't we all combine under this banner and we'll get more people to watch us. Back then the idea was just we want more people to come see us stand up. YouTube wasn't a thing, digital wasn't a thing. We were still old school at this time compared to what are now known as YouTubers. We were still old school. We were still we will do live shows,
Performing on street corners and picking eclairs
essentially,
as money.
and handing out pamphlets, all that. So we were like old school. This thing, we only wanted to perform on stage and write and all that, and we came under that banner and started doing shows, and it just grew from there. And at some point with OML, we spoke to Vijay. Tanmay knew of him. He'd been spotted wearing one of our t-shirts, and it just struck up conversation. And Vijay is this obviously crazy events guy, and he'd been doing so well with all the music stuff. And he was always anyway on the lookout for whatever's cool and interesting and all of that. So he said, I can take your game from here to here. And so we just partnered with them on producing our live show, the Royal Turds, which is our Bollywood spoof award show that we ran for a couple of years. And the difference between just doing it with them, you saw how you could achieve scale, how you could really do an event properly. It was a good start to the partnership. Then at some point YouTube happened, and again we were very reluctant about YouTube because again we want to just perform. Who will write and film and edit and ये कौन करेगा, ये सब नहीं करना मेरे को internet के लिए and all. We had no idea, but they also, Shreyas at OML, all these guys convinced us to give it a try, and we started doing YouTube, and one of the videos took off, and that's when we were like, okay, this is interesting and insane and new, and wow, this is a completely different world. Just kept going from there. So none of it was planned. We were just chasing the next high and having fun with what we knew.
But right
how to
now,
do.
so who's in AIB? Because I heard there are more people now.
Yeah, so we've
So
gone
are
from...
just the four of you are the main guys, and how does it work?
So
give us the corporate structure. Give us where you pay GST.
You want a P&L and
VAT,
everything.
Yeah, everything. Give us all.
So we've gone from essentially combined. Tanmay started the company. Rohan and I joined in later, and we've gone from just four guys working out of our apartments or Tanmay's apartment or Rohan's house or whatever, to now we have an office of about 40 people. Four of us are still what you would call core or partner members or directors or whatever the designation you want to keep. That's the core, but we have... The idea is to move beyond four of us, right? So over the last couple of years, what we've done, which Tanmay especially headed, is the YouTube team, which has grown from just us to now we have a team of 10 writers who work independently of us pretty much. So they write, they direct, they
So you literally have writers for your writers. It's fabulous.
Yeah, so we don't sit and write sketches anymore. We'll come in on ideation, like if Tanmay is heading that, so he'll make sure the ideas are in place, etc.
Right. So it's more like an Anu Malik thing. Now you just take the credit. The guys do the work. Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
But big question here. Have you all linked your Aadhaar cards? You haven't, have you? It's time you own up to this. Here on our show.
I'll just see. I'm a fan of the Supreme Court, and I like.
You better be. From what I gather, you have a house in Delhi again.
Every comedian is a fan of the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like their latest.
Don't
work.
get into that too much, but just very quickly tell us: are the legal cases sort of in the back burner now?
So there, I mean,
I know you won with us as well. So
I'm just trying to see how much I can talk about because matters in court, etc.
Yeah.
But I mean,
sub judice.
Life goes on. It's a new phrase.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean that's.
You sound like an engineer all over again. Sub judice.
This is me and my viva. Sir, out of syllabus question. I don't know how to answer, sir. But yeah, I mean, let me put it this way: we are still going at full steam with all our work, and we have the resources to really.
To go to court and fight battles.
To now figure it out, essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But has it curbed your enthusiasm? Forget the pun.
Okay, so I don't know about... So personally, yeah, you do realize the difference between doing jokes at a club when you're unknown and like there's 30 people watching you, or even if it's 200 people watching you.
Sorry, but I remember you also getting in trouble with Shiv Sainik's at one Thane show when you...
No, this was not at Thane. This was another location.
No, this is well before your fame and this big show on the internet.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that Ashish seemed to be already caught in controversy in a sense.
It's not me, it's the country.
It is the country. I agree with you. We're all on your side, you know that.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about? Yeah, so there's a difference between, you realize now...
What you can say in a bar and what you can say
in a bar when you're...
public setting.
Yeah. Not even in public setting. If
what can you say to your girlfriend though? How does that work?
Sorry?
With the girlfriend, how does it work? What are the rules there? How far can you go?
I will have to find one. I will have to get on one of these apps.
I heard EIB has got a lady special. I should mention that. No, that's the other. That's TYF.
What? Oh, the Gauriapa channel.
Oops. In India, Pakistan, is it?
Not really. That's
never say that. People from MTV move to Channel V and vice versa all the time.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. It would be silly.
Yeah.
There's enough place.
Ashish, we're running out of time. We've got EMAs as well to do. So quickly, I want to talk to you about what was your experience working on the week that wasn't. Because tell me about your relationship with Kunal Vijayakar.
Kunal Vijayakar was... My relationship with Kunal Vijayakar was very straightforward. But what happened was it was funneled to me also by a certain guy called Cyrus Brocha. So I could talk to Kunal Vijayakar like I'm talking to you. But then Cyrus Brocha would be sitting next to him and he would make a joke and he would funnel Kunal's emotions into that joke and throw it at you. So if Kunal would say something, Cyrus would say, yeah, Kunal always does this. Imagine what if Kunal was the general of the army and there's a bit on Kunal being the general of the army. So I'm like, okay, this is a great way to interact with Kunal through the filter of Cyrus.
Oh, so you'd bitch him out a little bit. You give me nothing.
It was funny. It was like, what is that movie with the two old men, Odd Couple or whatever? Odd Couple, Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
in some way you mean it as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
I'll put a toying there for myself.
It is a compliment. You were lovely together. Because he would be straightforward in work and you would be like, joke. And it's interesting.
What's it like with the AIB crew?
Oh, right now, it's super intense. There's a lot of work going on. We reached a place where we're not in each other's faces all the time anymore.
So who's like the boss? How do you decide when you have four people and there's no real structure in the sense it's, four guys?
I think very obviously it seems like...
Democracy?
No. We've sort of... what is the word? Delineated our responsibilities, designated, and we try to sort of make sure that our individual tracks are running smoothly.
You sound like a Miss India now.
Yeah, and Mother Teresa is lovely. Tanmay tends to take more of a leadership role. I think it's a very driving force, but because he's more hands-on involved, especially with YouTube, which is a day-to-day thing, and building the YouTube team from being just new writers to being people who can write, shoot, direct, edit, and pretty much run the channel is a mammoth task. So he's been...
Okay, so while that's going on, there's also an Ashish Live, which is going to come up, right?
Yeah, so...
is this going to be your first really big show in terms of you alone?
No. Actually, wait, yes. If it happens the way I'm seeing it, it is the first
you
time.
Alone.
It is the first... No, the reason I got confused, I've done a lot of solo shows back in the day. But this is my first hour that I'm working towards.
Okay.
The first solo special as such, because over the last couple of years, we just didn't have time to write individual stand-up. We were doing involved with the company, and right now I've been sort of missing that. So wherever I could took a break, and now with a little time on weekends, etc., I try and make sure I go to an open mic and write some stuff. So I'm building towards an hour special, which is your comedic gold standard still. And that's interesting because as opposed to AIB, where you're still talking to an audience and you're catering to a certain kind of audience, etc., where I can't just go and talk about my whims and fancies. In stand-up, I can. So I'm having a lot of fun in stand-up because it's a completely different set of material. It's a little more personal. Like back in the day, stand-up used to be, look at that thing, and I'll tell you why. Now stand-up is tending towards, hey, look at me, and I'll tell you why. And that I think is a fun balance to do, and I'm having way more fun doing it because the scene has evolved so much over the last couple of years. You have so many talented people come around. It's daunting, but also kind of refreshing.
So who's funnier, your generation or the one after?
Oh, right now the people on stage and the people who've been killing it over the last 2-3 years, I wouldn't put it as a generation as such because we're all around the same age. But yeah, the people who've really grown over the last 2-3 years are incredibly funny.
How do you rate Naveen?
Narona?
Yeah.
Oh, Narona's very funny.
Really?
Narona's very funny. I remember him, I saw Naveen last at a storytelling open mic, I think. It was a long time ago. Where Naveen was telling his great story about how he got engaged and there was a bed and there was a headboard involved. And it was quite funny. That's the only thing I remember last. Uske baad main dekha nahi hai.
All right. Your view on narcotics?
Which kinds?
Fair enough. The BJP?
What's a BJP?
The Congress?
See, the Congress is full license to make jokes. That should give you the answer.
So 2019, who are you voting for?
Toing! Hillary Clinton.
Toing! I'll toing you out of here.
Justin Trudeau.
Okay, Ashish, wonderful having you on the show. But before we let you go, you're going to stay for the AMAs where people ask us random stupid questions and we try to answer.
Cool.
All right. So it's Ashish, Naveen and me.
Shunyavan, 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 Shunyavan.
$1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got founded.
No, the tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
All right, AMA time, and Ashish, we're joined by Naveen, a 16-year-old comic from a place far beyond Bhayandar. We don't know where it is. You were telling us something about this famous joke that Ashish thinks of all night, every night.
Yeah, so I'm
involving a headboard
and a bed.
Go ahead.
So I had to basically drop that joke because that joke cost me my relationship, the last one.
Oh, shit. What does that mean?
Because, that was a new joke. That was a whole storytelling night, a joke developed for that night. Like, I had a story about going to Dubai, and my boyfriend and I...
You're a chef, the chef
guy. The chef guy, yeah. And we ended up breaking a bed in Dubai. So I thought it was like some very badass thing I did. So I recorded the entire set, sent him the voice note, and he's like, you're washing a dirty laundry in public, and we just got into a big fight after that. And a month later, we broke up. So that's how it goes.
I would like to show empathy here, but I still think...
Okay, it's cool.
Yeah, but
I
also,
don't know.
to be honest, Naveen, was the laugh worth it? you got a lot of laughs at it.
It was. I was laughing on the day it happened also, and then
I
afterwards.
think you missed the point he was trying to make, which is too many cooks spoil the broth. I think that's what he was trying to tell you.
You know what is hilarious about the situation? Now you can add that bit.
Yeah.
Have you added that bit?
I've done that.
Yeah, there you go.
So now there's no chance of going back.
Yeah, exactly.
You've taken it
Do
wrong.
a bit, you break up, and then you add that breakup into your bit.
So I referenced that
But
break
did he
now.
really break up because of that?
Yeah.
Or was that an excuse? He didn't really like you.
He, all throughout the relationship, while we were dating, he knew I was a comedian. He was like, make a joke on me. I made a joke on him and he was like, no, this one's too harsh.
What's his name? Let's make more jokes.
No. Let's not out him. He's in the Middle East, like, of all
Oops.
people.
That's allowed.
50 kode right there.
Yeah, there you go. All right, AMA time and question number 1.
First question is from Monish Nair. Cyrus, your Wikipedia page says this about you. The press hailed him as a child prodigy and his career in acting took off. What happened?
Yeah, Wikipedia gets it right. What can I say? I wanted to be a lawyer. That didn't happen. And now I'm stuck with this stupid podcast. But luckily I get to meet old friends every 10 years. So life is okay.
You were in Jallo,
But I am
remember.
doing a small role in a film in Lucknow in 2 weeks for which I have a 15-line monologue to learn. So I thought 1 line a day for 15 days till I get it. It's going to be murder.
But 99 is a great movie.
Yeah.
I keep telling that to people to watch and stuff.
Yeah, it's a well-written film. I don't know if it's a great film, but it's well-written, which is rare in Bollywood. They actually write a script. Rajan DK, that's right.
DK.
And let me tell you about Rajan DK. So they couldn't speak a word of Hindi. DK not a word of Hindi. So on Delhi set, he would order limbu pani like this. Lemon? Tani, lemon, tani. He's doing a blockbuster Hindi film.
and doing dumb
Irony.
charades.
I love the irony of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were we?
So that's what happened to your acting career.
Nothing, that's it. We did about 3 or 4 films, didn't go anywhere.
But you were with Archana Puran Singh in Jalwa, wasn't you?
I was 14 years old, brother.
Yeah. I remember that.
I'll have to play her dad, because she's still playing Archana Puran Singh.
Right, next question is from Pun of God. Why do Parsi people dress so funny? Look at that white suit guy. What white suit
the
guy?
Dugli has, you talk about chefs, the Dugli does, have you seen the Dugli, the Parsi Dugli, the white thing? It is chefy, it is, but look, this is from 400 years ago, and if you look at any medieval outfits, they don't always make sense today.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, even the sari, especially when it's worn by men, it just doesn't work for me. So, I think we're being a little overtly critical, but I don't like wearing the Dugli. It takes too long to open and to put on. It's just pointless for me.
I would like to see you wear it here. That would be like, who do you? He's asking like people wear it all the time. Like,
I think he's referring to the stereotypical,
No, he may have been scarred. He may have come out of entered the city, seen 2 Parsis and Duglis, and was like, what? What is that?
I think he's referring to that toying wala Hindi film where the Parsi characters always wear the black topi. Like he's doing that.
And the job is that of a mechanic, but he's still dressed like that. So it doesn't make any sense.
But one actor played that in Ishq and all these movies. Like
Dinesh Hingu.
Yeah. He was the stereotypical.
Sindhi. I couldn't find one Parsi who played for some reason.
I digress. Kya bolte hai tum? All of that. Cool. Last question.
And you make fun of the Parsi community again, Naveen, and I'm going to take your chef friend side.
You're half Parsi, okay?
Yeah. So you make fun of the Catholic community as well? I'm going to take your half friend side.
Come to my show and find out. Okay, I'm a Test cricket fan just like you. What do you guys think of the Test Championship being held in 2019 by ICC? Is that a good sign for Test cricket? Sani Ahuja.
Yeah, but it's a difficult thing to understand. How will you play home and away? How many Test matches will you play? Different conditions. Cricket has got so much varying conditions that these World Championships over a period of time don't make too much sense to me. Let Ashish take it. He also likes the game.
Test cricket, I wonder when I will take 6 months off from my job to watch it. What happened? You're going to hate me for this, but at some point I just stopped watching cricket. I don't know. It just happened. And I probably should not say that out loud when the IPL is happening. But do you follow the IPL, Naveen?
No, I just
Naveen doesn't like sports at all.
I don't like
he likes
sports.
chefs. I mean, pay attention.
Right, both. No, but yeah, so why? Like, did you ever follow it?
I followed it. The first 2 seasons, I was like a big fan because my sister worked for Setmax, so we would get a lot of merchandise.
Is your sister's name Sony? Go on.
So yeah, she would get a lot of merchandise to our house and everything, and we would have like family gatherings.
Typical Indian family. You work for the brand, you bring the brand home.
Yeah.
Hey, co-stars for everyone. T-shirts.
So the neighbors would come. We would like have a whole deal at our house, and then slowly start fading away. And then once it went to South Africa, we were like just not watching it because we were like, "Apni dish mein nahi ho raha hai." My father feels very dearly for
elections.
It's also possible that Ashish tasted a little success in the last few years, which allows him to meet more females and go out and have a good life. For us who don't have that option, cricket is everything. And how dare you take that away from us? How dare you?
Even when I was unsuccessful.
How dare you? All we have is that
I
game.
was young. Life was full of opportunities.
They banned my favorite player, Stephen Smith, and I have to sit through 1 year.
Damn it.
1 year.
But I find myself like very lost in these conversations because even in comedy green rooms, everybody's like checking ESPN cricket info and then talking about isne ye mara, isne ye mara. I'm just like, what do I contribute to this conversation?
You tell them who you marred recently.
As long as it's bats and balls involved.
Stop it. No ball, free hit.
One last question. Because we're talking about cricket, what do you think about the Steve Smith controversy?
We discussed that 15 times.
Yeah, but Monish wants to know your perspective.
I think
Ashish.
Since Monish has asked, we have to revisit the conversation that nobody's had the last 2 weeks.
But Ashish is retired from the game. It's not right that he picks it up now.
Yeah, it would be
We can't
weird.
ask him to talk about Babri Masjid now because many years have passed. In fact, the black buck is dead, as far as I gather. I mean, of natural causes, in case he wasn't killed by a gun.
Yes, he,
Well, who killed the black buck? That's the question that's out there as well. Does anybody know?
It overate and died on its own.
I believe the entire herd is dead because after 20 years, that's the.
I assume that would be the lifespan.
Yeah, so in a sense they've killed them all.
Wow, I like how he went from cricket or whatever, Steve Smith to.
But Steve Smith, I've already said it in 200 words or less, and I'll just simply say that 1 year is too harsh a ban. Everybody cheats at cricket. Everybody cheats with the ball and roughs it up. So I'm against it. And
so how fair is it that Srishan got like an entire lifetime ban?
Two different things. That's for match fixing. They're trying to win the match for their country. They're not trying to tank the match. They're two different things altogether.
Yeah, but then match fixing or ball tampering is like against the rule book. It's against the rule book.
It's not the same thing.
No, but even on the rule book, I assume the punishments are different.
It's like putting your finger in your ass or putting your finger in your mouth. They're two different things, right? Now show me.
What?
Nothing.
What happens at these podcasts when a guest is not here?
Ashish, you don't understand. My life is all about metaphors. And ever since I met Naveen, it involves fingers.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Because he did not know about what the gay life is all about
Right.
up until he met me.
Because he's making great assumptions.
No, Ashish,
Yeah.
I spent all my life with a guy called Kunal. What the hell is he talking
Exactly,
about?
and I saw photos of you in the swimming pool with him, and I was really excited about what is the relationship like.
We
I
were
would
doing the
find it.
breaststroke, yeah. I remember. All right, are we done?
Yep.
Shakya, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having
Naveen,
me.
thank you, and we'll hear from somebody else soon.
Why?
I have no
You
idea.
like my voice over?
Oh, who cares? Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online, and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called May.
And that's what Cyrus says.
There she stands, a podcast addict. Outside the bank, having traveled several miles to get in with other poor souls like her. The journey, though daunting for this youngling, will have some comfort because she has downloaded her favorite podcast. You can see more of her species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.